everybody, and welcome back to Teresascorner. I am Teresa and thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. For those who are new to my channel, welcome. And today I wanted to show you guys how my vandas are doing. If you guys remember, I did these hooks. I made a video about these hooks and I love them. My vandas are doing fantastic. There's just so much root development happening, right? The only thing is that right now I'm working a 24-hour shift every 4 days. So every 4 days nobody waters these vandas, or at least not like I used to 2 to 3 times a day when my mom was here. My mom is on vacation and she's gonna be gone for a good 6 months. So that means these vandas go without watering every 4 days for almost a 24-hour period, and you can tell that they're dehydrated. I do soak them every night for like 15 to 20 minutes in water to try to minimize the from being dehydrated, but it's just not enough. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and pot them today. Alright, before we get started, I want to show you how these vandas are doing. As you can see, there's just green tips everywhere. Even the older roots are expanding. Look at this. All throughout the vandas, just roots everywhere. And I love it. Look at this one. On the other side as well, there's roots everywhere. Look at those roots. And that's just throughout the entire vandas. This is why I wanted to go bare root, because I felt like they would do better, and they did. I can't keep up with the watering, you guys. You see these leaves? They look wrinkled. That's because they're dehydrated, and it's understandable, but I'm just gonna go ahead and pot them. Alright guys, so I'm gonna get started with the Mimi Palmer cross with itself, and what I'm gonna do is carefully remove it from the hook. If you remember, it's wrapped around the roots. And the good thing about this metal that I use is very soft, very pliable. So look at that. I'm gonna slowly just pull it. You see that? There you go. It came off. And this is why I ordered this one from Amazon, because it's very soft and you can work with it. So I figured that if I ever needed to remove it, it'd just be easier to work with this, right? So I'm going to set it aside. I can use that for a different hook, for a different orchid down the road. As much as I like bare root orchids, I just can't deal with it. You know, right? I cannot be a slave to watering these orchids, and I don't want to lose them. So look at these older leaves. I think I'm just going to remove this one here so it's not buried, and I'm going to go ahead and just remove this other one here. It's some of the seedling root leaves. The rest I'm going to leave. The roots are good. Look at that. These are live. They're still growing. Brand new green tips. All these here, it's just a little dry. I watered them this morning. Well, I soaked them last night, and then I watered them this morning again, and they just looked dehydrated. So once again, I'm going to use a layer of moss here, and then I have a mixture already pre-made of my usual mix: leca, bark, my rocks, and charcoal, and some sphagnum moss. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to center as much as I can. I won't be able to really center it because you see that it kind of goes outward, so it hits. but it's okay. So I'm gonna add a layer of my mix, and then I'm just gonna start adding around. And that's it, you guys. Very simple repot. And that is the Mimi Palmer. Alright, so I'm going to move on. I'm actually going to use different pots here. As you know, I do like to recycle. I do recycle all of my cans and bottles. The good thing is that there is a recycling center down the road for me. So I do that. And then my bottles, I turn them into planters all the time. This is another one I just made, and I'm going to use it for the medium-sized Vanda, and then the larger one, of course, I'm going to use this pot here. As you can see, this one's going to have a water reservoir. All my orchids have a small water reservoir, right? So that's how I water my orchids. I'll add some water to it, and then it all drains to the bottom, and 3-4 days later they're completely dry. So it's not like they're sitting in water the entire time, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with this one. So what I did was that I cut the bottle in half, then I made some holes here at the bottom. I'm not putting the cap on, so I made 2 holes through both of the containers. So if I choose that I want to hang it, you know, next spring, I can just add some wire here and hang it. Right now I'm not going to hang it. I'm not even going to add the wire because I don't want it taking up room in my greenhouse, but it's just going to sit like that. So I'm going to add some sphagnum moss. You saw that? I added just a little bit, so that's going to be in contact, and then I added some rocks there. And I'm going to add more sphagnum moss. Oh. The quality of the sphagnum moss I received, you guys, I don't like it too well. There's just a lot of trash on it. Alright, I hope you guys can see that. So that's what and this one here is the Vanda Shararqui. So it's a cross between a Warrant and Dr. Anik. Never seen it. I looked it up. I'll go ahead and put the picture there, but I mean, look at the roots. I hate to pot it, but I just have to, because look at the that's the rice right there. There's a bird feeder. You hear all that rice? It's the birds. Oh god. Oh, it's too funny. Anyways, you see those lines? That's just dehydration. I don't want that for my orchids, so alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove it from the hook. This one was very easy. It's gonna come out very easy. I didn't make that many twists. You see that? So I'm just gonna pull like so, and it's tangled in there, but it's not. There we go. It's not a big deal. Alright. You see that? I mean, it's growing. Don't get me wrong, it's growing. They're doing good. I just don't like that they're dehydrated. That's all. It's gonna sit like that. And I should be able to add a spike to it so it maintains its position, which I'll do. It's a big enough pot for it. It's not like it's gonna be too small. If for some reason you didn't want to use the moss as a wicking, method, you can always use some type of, I don't know, cotton or microfibers. I normally just use my moss as a wicking agent, but you can use whatever you want. It's getting a little heavy and my holes are not aligning, but it's okay. I'm not too worried about it because like I said, I'm not going to hang it. When I'm ready to hang it, then I'll just go ahead and align it, right? Meanwhile, it doesn't matter if it starts. So that's it, guys. You see that? Very simple. There's a root that's kind of protruding. It was growing upwards. Can you see it there? I want to cover it, but I don't want to break it. So I received these in March 25th, 2020, and on April 7th, 2020, it's when I took it bit root. So I took it off the pot and I put it on the hook. And now, what is it? August 29th? August 30th is when I potted them again. So I'm going to go ahead and make that notation on my label. Alright, the next one is, I'm using a traditional pot for this one. It's much larger. My roots are much more larger. Oh, I don't want to break them. I have to sit it in water for a little bit. But you see that? So I'm going to pull it off the hook. I use some Velcro to hold it in place. Alright, so this one is the Repotting Pink Sathinian. And it's actually growing. It was much smaller when I received it. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just pulling at the bottom. I'm going to sit it in this water where I have the moss for now. Let's see if the roots will loosen up a little bit. As you can see, the roots are a little more flexible. I don't know, guys. Now that I think about it, the pot might be too large. Now that I see it. I don't have anything smaller, so I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to leave it like this. I'm going to leave it like this. And obviously, I don't want to add media past the leaves because I don't want it to rot, right? So I can pull it and just add more media, but I just ran out of bark. So all I have is leca, and I think I'm just gonna leave it like that as it is. Add a few more of the leca that's left. I just ran out of leca too, guys. I need to stock up on my supplies. But, you know, these long hours at work right now and working every 4 days, 24 hours, the 3 days that I have, I don't really want to do anything else. So, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm not going to fill it up all the way to the top. It should be fine. And I'm going to call it a day. So, alright guys. So, these are my vandas. Right? These are my vandas. As you can see, they are now potted. I already miss them being bare rooted, but it is what it is. I want them to survive. I want them to do good. So, this is what it has to come to. Alright guys, so this is it. I hope you guys have a good day. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you have any comments, questions, concerns for me, do leave those in the comments below. I do review my comments on a daily basis, and I do respond as soon as possible. So, don't forget to leave your comments. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please consider sharing this video and also subscribing. Alright guys, you guys have a good day. Bye.